Join me for a full body stretch. We are gonna focus more on low back, glutes, quads, hips. We'll do a little bit of upper body, but the focus is mostly lower body. This is something I hear from a lot of people that they struggle with in terms of stretching out that low back and the glutes and the hips. That area is all connected. So we're gonna start off in child's pose. So we're gonna come up. We are going to sit back on our heels and we are going to sit here. If it's more comfortable for you, you can often put a pillow underneath or a bolster underneath your belly for support. We're just gonna sit back here and we're gonna hold this. You wanna focus on your breathing, taking a deep breath in and exhaling out. Oftentimes on the exhale when you stretch, you can get a little bit deeper, so you can focus on that. We'll stay here for a few more seconds. And then what we're going to do is we're going to reach to the side and we're gonna get that stretch all the way through underneath your armpit and all the way down. To target that low back a little bit more, take that top hand and you're gonna put it through the other one and lean into it. And you should feel that a little bit more in the lower back. We're gonna come up, we're gonna switch sides. So again, reach through that one side. Again, focusing on your breathing, connecting to your body. We're gonna reach through that arm and sit back. From here, we're gonna go into cat-cow. So you're gonna come up on all fours and we're going to think about moving our spine vertebrae by vertebrae as we flex and curve. This is one that I can tell when my back is in rough shape, is if there's no movement. Earlier this week, there was no movement. So worked really hard on getting that movement in my low spine. You can also sit back a little bit in that arch. I find that helps take a little bit of decompression off that low back. Okay, from there, we are going to go into what is called a pigeon. Now this one can feel really complicated to do, and if being on the ground doing this one is too challenging, you can use something like your sofa, your bed, or even a chair. I often used my stairs as well, especially when I was first doing this, but you're gonna come up with one knee, bring in your ankle in front, and you're going to lean forward and drop that back hip a little bit so your leg is flat, okay? Now, you may only be able to get into this position, but the goal is to be able to get down lower to get more of a stretch in that glute and low back area. Adjust your belly as needed. I just shimmied it. You might need to move it with your hands, and that's totally fine. We're gonna sit here. Now, if it becomes too much, it should not hurt. Bring those hands back up and take some of the pressure off, okay? This is one of my favorite versions of doing this. I will show a seated version as well once we get through this. You can rock it in a little bit, just getting a little bit more movement. Okay, we're gonna come up. We're gonna stay working on this side, and then we'll do the other side of the pigeon, but I will show you the seated version first. So the seated version of the pigeon, you're gonna sit upright, bring this knee up, and the closer you get, the more stretch you're gonna feel. And you're gonna feel it all wrap around here. So you can do this on a chair, or you can do this on the ground. I find doing this on the ground really helpful, but you may need to start on a chair. So that's an option. From here, we're gonna go into the 90-90 and just get a little bit more of that stretch. I find you can get your hamstring in this one as well. You can reach forward. Again, focusing on those breaths, and as you take a deep breath in, exhale out and create more space as you stretch. From here, we're going to bring our hands up and sit back. We're going to get a nice, good quad stretch in here. You get to decide how far back you go. I find it really hard for a lot of people to stand and do their quad stretch, so holding their ankles. So this one gets that nice, good stretch. And this is one you can actually do in bed, in the morning, before bed. It's a really great place to do it as well. Oh, but it feels so, so, so good. Just a couple more seconds here. Now we're gonna come up and we're gonna switch to the other side for the pigeon. So same thing, just the other side, we're gonna go through that same sequence. You might find that one side feels tighter than the other, totally normal. I definitely have one side that is more hypermobile than the other, the one that is stiffer. And again, you get to decide how far you come down. You can do this one seated again, remember. And again, focus on that breathing. A couple more seconds here. Okay, we're gonna come up. We're gonna go into that 90-90. I'm gonna lean forward. So when it comes to these, you'll get used to the flow. And this is a shorter version, but you can hold some longer. Some you might not need to hold as long, so you can play around with the timing as you do this video. Again, focusing on that breathing. We're gonna walk ourselves up. We're gonna get that other quad and hip. And again, just sit back in it. Whew. Okay, we're gonna come up. And we're gonna go into a hamstring stretch. So you're gonna put one leg out and we're gonna reach for our toes. If you can't reach your toes, it's totally fine. You can also use a towel to help if you want. Wrap it around your foot. If you wanna get a little bit more stretch in that lower back, you can reach to the side and it's gonna get all the way down into that low back on the side that you've got the arm out. I like this one because it gets two parts at one time, really decompressing that spine. Coming up nice and slowly, you don't want to move too much, too quickly out of these stretches. We're gonna switch to the other side again with that hamstring. And again, remember, you don't have to touch your toes. You can work your way up to it. The goal is to feel that stretch in that hamstring muscle and even in your calf. And again, reach over to get that extra stretch in the low back. I love this one too. Okay, next we are going to bring our heels together. And the goal is to bring your knees as close to the ground as you can. I'm told I'm a little bit flexible with this, that my knees can almost touch. But you want to sit up straight, elongate that spine, and continue to focus on that breathing. From here, we're gonna move into upper body. So I'm gonna cross my legs because that's comfortable, whatever's comfortable for you. You're gonna bring one arm across. If you hear maybe in the background, Brooklyn is just waking up. So She usually talks to herself for a little bit, so you might hear a little bit of background noise. We're gonna go over our head, get that tricep under that armpit. We're gonna switch sides. Over our heads. We've just got a couple more here. We are going to pull out, open up those shoulder blades. And behind our back and pull down. You can also go side to side with your neck a little bit. Just nice and gentle. I did not realize how tight my neck muscles were. We're gonna do our last one, so grab one knee and tilt to the side again. We're targeting that low back to try and create some space in there. Come up slowly. Switch sides. And there you go. So this is a really good one to do after a workout, after a walk, doing some cardio. You can use this one as well on its own. I find it really good to help with that low back, the hip and the glute opening. But enjoy. Have a great day.